लड़ी बात क्यों नहीं आ रही? ये क्या रोल है?
वेबसाइट ने बंद की हुई है।
ये बड़ी ऑन रही है वेबसाइट। एक तो ये वेबसाइट भी ना।
Azam at mid-off, surveying proceedings here. Wide again, he's gone after it.
प्लेयर बन गया आयरलैंड।
That is a cracking shot. He's just extended his arms beautifully there, Balbirnie. He was wide enough. And again, absolutely sweet out of the sweet spot, middle of the bat. Beautiful shot from Balbirnie. And again, that's another thing in a lot of T20 cricket, they're looking to go aerial over that area now.
Well, what he's not doing here, he's not bowling to instructions. That's way too wide. That's too wide deliveries that have been punished. The field is not set for that. If he's going to bowl that wide, then he's got to have cover point, deep point. I think we're going to have a change of ball. Just looking at third umpire coming on. Now, whether the ball is out of shape or whether the seam has come apart, I don't know, but it's going to be a change of ball.
I think it might have disappeared between the two tents. But we won't know. We won't know from our vantage point here, but it was certainly wide enough for Balbirnie to really let his hands go, and the tendency is, in this modern era of T20 cricket, that's precisely what they do. So after umpire deliberation, we're back in action again. We don't really know whether it's the original ball or not. Babar having a good look at it, wondering what the thing to do, whether it's still in shape or what way they're going to look at things. There's quite an amount of deliberation going on at the moment.
I'll tell you something here. It could be that Shaheen says, I really don't like this ball. It's got nothing to do with the ball. It's the way that you bowled it, Shaheen. That's the true aspect. But sometimes, look, bowlers are fickle, just like batsmen are. What about your bats? But sometimes you can get a ball and you can present it to the umpire and say, I don't think this is as good a ball as it should be. It's brand new. And now Mohammad,
he's got the arm around the umpire. Aiden Seaver, fresh to this level. And again, that can be the sort of thing that can happen. I don't know what. Afridi's in his ear. This would be commonplace. Maybe they know. Maybe they know, Alan. This is early on in Aiden Seaver's umpiring career. They're putting the arm around him, they're cajoling him.
Always be nice to an umpire. When it comes to the LBW decision, you want it to be your friend. Well, we've had 5 deliveries. Andy Balbirnie's put 2 of them away for 4. Ooh. It's the end of the first over. 8 for no wicket. So a decent start.
Decent start for Ireland. Not so decent for Shaheen Afridi. A bit wayward. But Balbirnie put them away, which was the key thing.
Paul Stirling, who becomes Ireland's leading player in terms of number of caps, number of appearances in all formats. 390, he's gone past Kevin O'Brien today. Great player, Kevin. And now we're going to see Abbas Afridi. Oh, no, we're not.
I don't think we are. We're going to see Mohammad Amir.
Yes, we are. Mohammad Amir.
A bowler I've always admired. Look, huge competitor, fantastic competitor. Wears his heart in his sleeve. And
bowling from the city end, and there's still a slip. Fine leg is up inside the circle.
Tucked away there on the leg side by Stirling, very comfortably. Always nice to get off the mark, no matter what the game you're playing. But I think it's important, you know, as a captain, you want to lead from the front, and we've kind of talked about that. There's never any question about the greatness of Paul Stirling's contribution to this Irish fold, but just in need of some runs if he can. Somir continues.
Yeah, he just has to get his line over a bit, split leg stump. So normally for Mohammad Ahmed, and he's one of the few left arm quicks who doesn't like coming round the wicket, even later when the ball is a bit older. Azam was the great left armer who come round the wicket and make the ball talk. But
well, as a left armer yourself, did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I always felt that coming round the wicket just gave you sometimes a little bit more control.
Well, do you know if you look at modern one-day cricket, even Test match cricket, the amount of times Chris Broad, Anderson came round the wicket, to left-handers in particular, they like to look at that off stump.
Yeah, I think that Paul Stirling will be watchful here, just a ball or two, just to see Mohammad Ahmed. He didn't play in the first game, of course. Mohammad Ahmed. A delayed start here. If you're just tuning in, we've had a delayed start. The match began just 10 minutes ago. The problem was a shower just before play should have started at 3:05. Rizwan still at slip. Azam Khan, the keeper. Imad Wasim at fine leg. He's up inside the circle, so Mohammad Amir can't go leg side. That's a wide. Shadab Khan is not in the side today. He's been replaced by Mohammad Amir. So there you see, just on your right of your picture, that's Imad Wasim. He's in a short, fine leg. He's up inside the circle, which is why when you're a left arm pace bowler over the wicket, if you're going to bowl leg side, you're putting that fielder under a great deal of pressure.
It's interesting that you say that, because they have to be one of your best fielders, in my opinion. The other side of things is, obviously, he's on the edge of the circle there. Like, either side of it, for anything tucked away, a metre either side, it's 4. The interesting thing is, often when something is flicked off the hip, it can go at a catching height. And I just wonder, is it of greater relevance maybe to have the opportunity, the chance? I remember Harry Tector, second ball of his innings test match at Lord's, Potts kind of lured him in. I don't know whether he was aware the fielder there was out straight into his arms, as we've just nearly possibly seen there. And it's just gone away for 4. But, you know, there are the margins. It could easily have gone to hand. That was the reason, in a sense, I said it. And you can nearly see Paul Stirling thanking his lucky stars. You just know in the batter's mind, that's in his mind, because he knows that fielder is there, Alan.
Yeah, this is the wrong line. You see, that's leg stump. And with Imad Wasim up inside the circle, he can't save the 4. If he's back, he's probably got 30 yards to be able to judge fielding it.
I think a risk and reward, leave him there.
Shot. Great looking shot. That's been caressed away for 4 by Paul Stirling. So 2 good overs to start. And 2 gone, 19 for no wicket.
Here's the replay and the interesting piece there, and it's a Stirling-esque, the way he's just able to open up that face, get the ball often square of the wicket is where he's so strong. And again, that area there, perfect for Paul Stirling, but a beautiful shot, foot extension, head and shoulders. Graham Ford used to always talk about that, head and shoulders into the ball. Here we are. Clontarf Castle.
Change of bowling. So Shaheen Afridi clearly not comfortable bowling from this top end, the huge end of the ground. So there is a slight slope. So you are running down the slope. And he is giving way now to Naseem Shah. Lovely action. Beautiful action. And has learned to bowl the away swinger to right-handers. He's got a beautiful side-on action. So Rizwan stays at slip.
I don't quite know what Andrew Balbirnie was trying there. Just a little help around the corner is what it looked like. Normally a really good puller and hooker of the ball. Andrew Balbirnie enjoys the short ball. And I think in any form of modern one-day cricket, you have to enjoy the short ball, or you will be found out. But over his career, he certainly has profited enormously from that shot.
He's gone after him. Over extra. Don't think he's got enough for 4. It's not. Babar Azam, the skipper. Paul Stirling, who's played quite a bit of PSL cricket. Islamabad United. Certainly gives the ball a crack. So these players will know something about that man there. Stirling, number 1. Can give it a mighty crack. This is typical of the way that Paul Stirling plays his cricket. Should be a couple more here.
Certainly a different sense, the way Ireland are going about things. You know, 23 without loss halfway through the 3rd over. But, there's a different sense of urgency. And again, that little bit of confidence. Balbirnie played so well here on Friday. Man of the match.
Got to be careful there. There's no third man. It's 4.
It's interesting, having watched Alan from last season, but there seems to be a much different trigger movement from Balbirnie. Back in that check-in motion, which he wouldn't have done previously. He largely stood still and eased into the ball, and maybe this is something that he's looked to work on, in an effort to just get these feet moving. But he's progressed very nicely. 16 from 11 now, Balbirnie.
Fielded. Yeah, Rizwan. Very quietly. This is a very good start for Ireland. They've been put into bat here by Babar Azam. 27 for no wicket. 1 ball to complete the 3rd over. Just the 1 change for Pakistan and 1 change for Ireland. Shadab Khan is out. Mohammad Amir is in. Bowled. Superb. And now a delayed request appeal for a caught behind. The umpire is not interested. 3 gone, 27 for no wicket.
Well, it was certainly delayed from the bowler. Keeper Khan went up straight away, maybe in jest, but Balbirnie wasn't moved. So as you say, Alan, Ireland have progressed very nicely indeed. 27 without loss now at the end of 3 overs. Pakistan, you would sense on a murky day, on a bowling day, would be a wee bit disappointed. But on the other hand, Ireland, there's been just that little sense of energy and enthusiasm about how they've gone about things.
It's called belief. Belief that they can take this to this Pakistan team. Shaheen swapped ends. Second over for him. Good looking shot. Should be 2 here. Saim Ayub, fielder. So change of end here for Shaheen. I would have thought he'd prefer to bowl from this end up the hill, slightly up the hill. Holds. When you're running down a slope, I always used to find that it threw me forward too much. I'd rather bowl up a slope. And with Mike Proctor as my captain, I had no choice. He's gone after him. Straight back over his head. Oh, what a catch that is. Mohammad has taken a magnificent catch. Shaheen runs to applaud him, and my word, that is a pretty special piece of cricket.
Well, it certainly looked from the moment that Stirling had hit it, it was going to go over Amir, but he didn't, and he made fantastic ground and full length took the ball two-handed, and again, that will leave Paul Stirling very disappointed, but it was a fantastic catch from Mohammad Amir.
He had to make a lot of ground. So an early strike for Shaheen. And I had a feeling that Paul Stirling just wanted to get after Shaheen, their strike bowler. It brings Lorcan Tucker in at 3. And Pakistan needed that. From their point of view, it's been a wayward start with the ball. Got 2 world-class bowlers in, or 3. Naseem Shah, Mohammad Amir, and Shaheen Shah Afridi. So Lorcan Tucker in at 3. And Rizwan goes back into slip, which means that third man is very, very fine. Almost like a second slip on the fence. Oh.
And that was squirted away by Lorcan Tucker there to third man. Before, there was a few gasps in here. Mr. Wilkinson arms in the air. I don't know why. He's a bit perturbed by 1 or 2 things, but we're going to find out fairly smartly. And there it is. That will please Lorcan Tucker. Another man in need of some runs, Alan.
Yeah. Just the one. No swing here for Shaheen yet. He normally gets that ball to jag back when it's brand new. He relies on that. It's one of his weapons. Think of World Cup tournaments, removing some of the best in the business. Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul for India. But no swing today. Maybe it's just a little bit on the chilly side.
I think that could be it. And he's just a little bit down on pace too.
Picked up by Balbirnie.
And he's gone.
And he is gone. That is a super catch. Fakhar Zaman is the man who takes it. And Shaheen, it's a double strike. Pakistan are all smiles now, but there was some early damage. Balbirnie, a key man in the first match, player of the match with his 77. He's walking back.
you'd have to say for Afridi, somewhat fortuitous that Balbirnie has picked solid literally down fucker's throat, and it was easily caught, to be honest. You can clearly see it there. Literally only had to come in 2 or 3 paces and said thank you very much. And it brings Harry Tector to the crease. Always has a tendency, Harry Tector, strides chest out. Remember him as a young boy, 10 years of age, collar up. They're here to watch me. They're here to watch me was his mantra.
Well, I tell you what, he's a very fine player, and Ireland needs him now because this double strike from Shaheen Afridi, removing Paul Stirling and Andy Balbirnie, which means that Ireland have 2 new batters at the crease. Harry Tector's just come in for Balbirnie. Lorcan Tucker has only faced 2 deliveries, so it's a reset for Ireland. That'll feel good. That'll feel good for Harry Tector, just to get that ball away. 35 for 2, 4 gone.
Well, they'll be disappointed to have lost those 2 wickets. And Stirling just hanging back on a drive, brilliantly caught by Amir, and Balbirnie straight down the throat. So 4 gone.
Well, it was a good start. Terrific start with the bat, but now these 2 wickets have set Ireland back. Naseem Shah.
It doesn't seem to be a trend, Alan, that worries players too much these days. Losing, like obviously if you lose 3 or 4 in the power play, but 2, no. As a preference, you'd be kind of thinking 1, well, yes. But like 2 wouldn't be a concern.
Oh, that's close. Oh, it's gone. Harry Tector's LBW. He stares down the pitch. The umpire is pointing at him. It's 3 down now. Harry Tector can't believe it. Though those Pakistan fans can.
I don't know why he's looking around, whether the issue is
just going to look at
the front line.
Just going to look at the front foot here. Whether it's a legal delivery. I think Naseem feels it's a decent delivery. The 3rd umpire's had a look at it, and disappointingly for Ireland, Harry Tector is the 3rd man out, but he still hasn't gone.
Oh, it seems. Hearing down the...
Well, Harry Tector's had a reprieve. There we go. It's a no ball from Naseem Shah. He's over that line. So, for Ireland, they'll be looking at this. They'll be looking at the lights in front of the pavilion here to signal, or whatever it is. I can tell you that it's a no ball. So.
And the other thing I can tell you, Alan, is this: it's a free hit.
It is too. Harry Tector is not out. He survives. And carves this away. I think Pakistan realise Saim Ayub, the fielder, is like a gazelle around the boundary, but Pakistan realised that Harry Tector is the key man here. It's the key bat now that Stirling is out, now that Balbirnie is out.
Well, it's another interesting thing. You talk about bowling down a hill. And again, if you're not used to it, it's the sort of overstriding you can do. Tentative that really from Tucker. But fortune for Harry Tector. And that's sometimes the way cricket goes. There's such a thin line. We haven't really seen how close that LBW shot was, but he was caught in the crease, Alan. It was just... It's the sort of situation when you look at it, you kind of go, gosh, that must be very close.
Uppish, but safe. Ireland having to regroup here, having lost the openers. Balbirnie was the player of the match in the first T20 international on Friday.
Well, I'll tell you, Alan, he looked very good while he was at the crease here today. Feet moving, seemed to be new senses of trigger movements. Very good.
Tall man, Harry Tector, just 23 years of age. Gets a big front stride in, which can often make life awkward for bowlers, even as accomplished as Naseem Shah. That should be a wide. It is a wide.
It was a tremendous take behind the stumps and movement away to his left-hand side by
Azam Khan's a big fella, but very agile. And Rizwan now comes out from slip for the last two deliveries of this fifth over. Babar Azam winning the toss, putting Ireland in. Delayed start. 35 minutes late starting this match because of rain. Now flashing blade, and that's 4. Now that is Harry Tector at his best.
That is an outstanding shot from Harry Tector. Again, the value of it played late. Again, wide. Naseem Shah, and you can see it here. Just that little trigger, but he's got his weight coming into the ball, Alan, and it speeds away back with a point, which has been an area of profit for Ireland. And again, interesting to look at the field. I'd call it wider third man, really, in a defensive position as one of the two fielders out. And that's even better.
That's fantastic from Tector. Through extra this time. Consecutive boundaries. 5 gone. It's 47 for 2.
Well, maybe honours even. In fact, Ireland may even feel as though they've had the better of the first quarter of the first innings. I mean, lost the toss, being inserted to bat. Despite the loss of those two openers, they played fluently. And they're going to continue to attack. Tucker gets his first boundary straight into the hands of the head groundsman of Clontarf. That's Dale McDonough Kincaid there. Does the fielding, as I wish a very warm good afternoon, warm welcome to Faisal Shah, the 50s up.
Welcome, Lenny. Welcome all. Well, this is some start for Ireland despite losing the 2 wickets. Mohammad 2 straight, trying to cramp Tucker up. He was able to get those hands out in front nice and early. There's no protection in that area. Boundaries have come thick and fast. A huge reprieve for Tector, rather, in the previous over of Naseem Shah. He was given out like before. but Naseem had overstepped. And Pakistan really need a breakthrough now, because this partnership, although it's short, but they've looked very good. And now just coming to the back end of the power play. It's a good start in terms of runs by Ireland.
Yeah, Amir, the only change today, only arrived into Ireland on Friday, comes in place of the leg spinner Shadab Khan. Is that a case of the conditions, the overhead conditions that we're seeing, very different to Friday?
Could well be. Also, Shadab was very disappointing the other day, and with short straight boundaries, they've gone for the four-pronged quick attack. Just the one spin Ahmad was seen. There is part-time spin options available, but the way the weather's set up, I think it's going to be seam dominated. It looks like it. Although so far, Ireland has done really well.
Tector had that real moment of fortune. He occasionally does give a life early in his innings, but he so often capitalises upon that and really cashes in. What's the reaction been back in Pakistan? It must have been a little bit of shock, was there, across the major cities, the fanaticism of everyone involved in Pakistani cricket?
It was indeed. And although Pakistan was coming off the back of the disappointing series against New Zealand, but that defeat really hurt everybody, it seemed. But like we discussed at the top of the show, it was not necessarily an upset, not the way that Ireland played. They controlled certain phases of the game so brilliantly. And even then, when Pakistan were dominating, they kept their discipline, they kept coming back at Pakistan. And there was no nerves towards the end. I mean, the way Camford played when he came in, it really summed up Ireland's performance throughout the day, which was fearless and very, very clear in their heads.
It'll be a quick single. Tucker is very quick, as is Tector, so that will round out the power play. Maybe Ireland, arguably the happier of the two sides, despite the loss of those 2 wickets. It's 55 for 2. Feels for those who follow Irish cricket, Faisal, that it's very much a new mindset under Paul Stirling as the permanent white ball captain now.
Exactly, and what we saw not only with his batting but his fielding as well. When Pakistan were batting, he was very aggressive.
For me, Ireland's approach under Stirling has been so tangibly more positive. It's actually something that I think has permeated through the domestic system. Great credit to someone like Gary Wilson, Ireland's assistant coach, who initially started out as the Northwest Warriors coach. I think it's absolutely symptomatic of a lot of work that the Irish backroom staff have done on the way the modern T20 game is going. Occasionally, it may look a bit foolish and you could be bowled out for 100 or 110, but I think more often than not, it will actually give you very good reward, as we will see Abbas Afridi in action now from the Leicester end.
It's all about the clarity. As long as you have that clarity in your mind and you have the right personnel for it, the execution may go wrong every now and then, but then there is no second thoughts in your head about if whatever you're doing, if it's right or not. We've already decided that's the way we're going to play, and we've got to get better at our skills to execute it better every time. And the odd failure here and there doesn't perturb them, and that's the right way to go, I guess.
I think it's also about how you then assess the impact of potentially that aggressive approach in terms of the form of a player. Someone like Lorcan Tucker is a little bit shy of runs, but Ireland have really shown faith with him at that number 3 spot. Some have speculated he could shuffle down the order, but a combination of that sort of incredible optimism and positivity within the camp that Heinrich Galan, the head coach, and all of the backroom staff have cultivated, it means that Ireland probably never looked more dangerous in this format. That is not a good delivery. It's going to go all the way for 6. Shelled in the crowd. What's he done there, sir? Your moment of glory burst through his hands. Tucker won't mind a jot. It's 6 more to the total.
Not at all. Poor execution from Abbas Afridi. Once again, that went way down the leg side, asking for trouble. It was almost a free hit. Abbas was generally very good with the variations. Greasy conditions. He lost that completely. beautifully helped along the way. Tucker looks in good order. So does Ireland.
Nicely pulled this time. Should be a couple. Will be a little greasy underfoot. We had what I describe as a squall, a heavy shower, right on the cue to toss the coin, and then again right on the cue to actually start with the delayed start. But the great news is we still have a full T20 for now, just about. I don't think we've any time left spare to play with. Is there a real chance Ireland could take this series?
They would be thinking, why not? Goes past the edge. The appeal is big and unanimous, but the umpire says no. Azam went up immediately, unlike the previous appeal on the seams bowling, but this time umpire ruling in favour of the batter, Afridi. Very surprised there. It was a close shave.
Well, I'm not sure for me whether or not even Afridi was completely convinced that this found something. It's the Wexford man, Aidan Seaver, in the hot seat here, recently elevated to the Irish Cricket Ireland panel of elite umpires. Yeah, I don't think the bowler was convinced at first. No Oscars at the moment going towards Afridi. It was a delayed appeal, and I think the right decision. That one is edged, and it's edged for 4 because Azam can't get anything on it. It'll get us to the end of the 7th. It's an expensive over. 13 come from it. 68 for 2. Faisal, just got a quick look there at the replay. Azam could he have done better?
He got himself wrong-footed in the first place, although it was bouncing awkwardly in front of him. But he was very upright, and from there to just go so low and then get something behind the ball, he was late in doing so. Talking about that appeal in the previous over, as we watch a bowling change again, and Mohammad was seen coming in. It's quite different from what happened the previous time when there was a caught behind appeal. Naseem went immediately and Azam never went.
Yeah, just the one primary spin option. There are some part-time spin options, the likes of Saim Ayub, and might even see a few off breaks and occasions from Iftikhar Ahmed as well.
Yeah, that's how they've gone with their lineup. 4-pronged pace attack and Imad being the regular spinner and a couple of part-time options, although Babar has been reluctant to go to these bowlers.
It's funny, it's something that Paul Stirling did almost exclusively through the start of his permanent beginning to his captaincy. He was sticking with the 5 bowlers no matter what. And in the first T20 here in Clontarf, immediately, he said, actually, I think we need to use that benefit of the depth of bowling options that we have. He went to Curtis Camphor in the first 6 and he used 6 bowlers. I think more and more often teams will want maybe not 4 overs from their 6th or 7th bowling option, but even just 1 or 2. It alleviates the pressure on the bowler who's having a bad day.
Exactly, and leave yourself plenty of options at the depth as well. Then you can go for the right kind of matchup rather than just relying on whatever you've got left.
Tell me about Pakistan's recent form in this format. Obviously a wonderful T20 World Cup run down in Australia all the way to the final at the MCG. But if you include that fixture, I know I could be cutting these numbers a little harshly, Faisal. You're now basically a local. That's why we're treating you like a local since you've been in for a couple of days. But they've played 23 T20Is since that final. They've only actually won 7 of them. Now, okay, they lost the final to England and there's been a couple of washouts in there. That's not a win percentage record a side of Pakistan's quality would expect or demand.
And especially since this is Pakistan's strongest format, it has become over the years because limited ODI cricket and Test cricket. So that is disappointing, but there are a few reasons to that. I may get a chance to get through them in the next over. Single will close out Imad Wasim's first over. It was pretty economical, just a 5 off it. 8 gone, 73 for 2.
For me, it really surprises me a side that can boast the class and the pedigree, particularly of the bowling options. You think of the brilliance of Naseem Shah, Shaheen Shah, Afridi, and all that death quality of Harris Rauf as well, and then you stick in the brilliance of two of the best 5 T20I players in the world, on the rankings anyway, Mohammad, Rizwan and Babar Azam. 7 wins since that T20 World Cup defeat to England. A lot less than I would have expected.
And I'm glad you mentioned the 3 quicks. During that phase, all 3 have had fitness issues, not all of them together at one time, but Shaheen got injured in that World Cup, and now Babar. Depends if Ayub goes. He's got a little bit of mystery about him. No mystery will be quite adequate if you continue to bowl those lengths. He's still lucky he got away with 2 real looseners.
Well, where have the mystery spinners gone from Pakistan? You think of the brilliance of the likes of Saqlain Mushtaq Ahmed, and then through Saeed Ajmal, who had such a marvellous record. There's a bit of mystery. Little leg cutter, the shades of Sikandar Raza isn't there, sort of flicks it out. Is Ayub more than just a part-time option?
He's getting to bowl more and more, and that he's got that carom ball as well. Really bowled an absolute jeffer to Alex Hales in the PSL. Bamboozled him. That was true with the new ball inside the power play. But once again, that little delivery will make Tucker and Tector think about Ayub.
Edged away. Well, it's going to be 4, not in any way where Tucker intended. You can see he's trying to get on with it. Gets the strike rate just up towards an acceptable level, up towards 120. Misfortune for Saim Ayub. Could have been the 3rd wicket. Instead, it's 4 to the total.
But once again, it was too short. He struggled with his line and length so far. Just the one delivery was on target. This one was too short. Although that little bit of turn just cut the edge and 4 runs. Encouraging signs though from Saim, the way he's giving an extra option to Babar. And we're talking about mystery spinners from past. I mean, Pakistan certainly is lacking quality spinners. That was very evident in the 50-over World Cup as well. Osama Mir, who couldn't make the cut in this trip, and Usman Khadir has just fallen by the wayside. Although, good finish to the over from Saim. 7 off it, 9 gone, 80 for 2.
8 wickets for Saim Ayub in the PSL 2024, the Peshawar Zalmi he's playing for. It's been a great league, isn't it, the PSL?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just excited the crowds all over the country, and it's the biggest brand now in Pakistan. And it's so fascinating to see that so much new talent coming through. Almost every season, there is a breakaway player that you can see. Last year, we saw Ahsanullah, who could bowl at 150. Unfortunately, he's got that elbow injury that has gone from bad to worse, and he hasn't been able to come back. But the outflow of talent is just amazing.
Into the 10th over, Imad Wasim will continue. Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing as a watcher from afar of the PSL has been the shift back towards hosting not just games in Pakistan, but now indeed the full season in Pakistan. Obviously, it spent a lot of time in the likes of the UAE being hosted overseas, but since it's come home, the crowds, well, they've become absolutely integral to the success of the league.
Oh yeah, and the most fascinating part is that the young generation, they have really taken to the league, and now they follow their team so rigorously as if, I mean, it was unthinkable just a few years ago.
One of Tucker's options is always the sweep. He likes to power sweep, he can paddle sweep. We'll see him scoop off the quicks as well. He's always innovating. But just over the course of these couple of overs, Pakistan reining it back a touch. You can feel Tucker and Tector just getting a little twitchy. They are trying to just get things moving. They want to keep that run rate up, hovering around 9 and over. So there's continued aggression. And I think that positivity, the positive intent from Ireland is so good to see.
Yeah, it is indeed. But if you see, the brakes have been put on by the spinners. If you look around, the conditions, it's cloudy, it's overcast. You would have thought the seamers would have a say today, but they went for runs, and spinners, this is the third over in a row. That has gone pretty quiet so far.
Historically, at this ground, spinners have always had success. It's always turned, and I think in a funny way, the additional velocity from Pakistan's quicks has been a bit costly for them, because Ireland have played very powerfully square of the wicket. They've used that pace on the ball. Just these 2 or 3 overs are reining the game back in for Pakistan. Good stuff from Ayub, and they're backed up by Imad Wasim too. Ireland not finding runs, critical dots in the middle here.
The lines are very important from Imad Wasim. Yesterday he drifted too far to the leg stump and then way outside the off stump. I say yesterday in the first game, but today
you were still dreaming of it like it was yesterday, playing it over in your head. That'll get us to the end of the 10th with what should be a single. They'll get a couple. The misfield, those difficulties in the deep continuing. I think it's the subfielder out there, Hassan Ali, who was on. Might have fumbled that one. We'll come back to that. 10 have been bowled.
84 for 2. Ireland put into bat by Babar Azam. Pakistan skipper. Pakistan have got one change in their lineup. Shadab Khan played in the first match. He's not playing in this. Mohammad has come in for him. And for Ireland, there's one change there. Graham Hume comes in for Barry McCarthy. And we've got a change here as well. Isabel Joyce, former Ireland captain, in here, bringing the sun with us, Izzy.
Love to bring the sun along. I wish it was shining a little bit more brightly this evening. We had such beautiful weather a couple of days ago. Bit of a chill factor here this afternoon.
Naseem Shah. Good looking shot.
Well, misfield in the deep. Looked to try and cover that with the body, but it ended up deflecting off the fielder's body. That's Iftikhar Ahmed, who made the mistake in the deep. It was struck with some power, but it should have been stopped. So I'll have a look at this now. Good connection, really got the hands through, had the width, but then a miscalculation in the deep. He'll say he slipped, but he probably could have just stayed on his feet and collected that one. So the fielding woes for Pakistan continue.
Yeah, a little change of pace that time from Naseem. He's learned with his forays into PSL, Pakistan Super League, high quality tournaments where Naseem Shah has not only learned to bowl the away swinger and just the ball that nips from leg to off, but the little off cutters there with a change of grip on the ball. Not sure how you describe that.
Was dealt with well. A bit of innovation from Lorcan Tucker, punching it into the leg side. Bit of awareness when the ball wasn't quite what he was expecting. Just made sure he rotated strike. It's been a couple of quiet overs for Ireland, just 16 runs from overs 8, 9 and 10. So they'll be keen to get going in this second half. Score is still looking okay because they started so well, especially in the power play, 55 for 2. Compare that with a few days ago when they were on 43 for 2, so an improved power play.
He's picked it up. Fielded. Saim Ayub is the fielder. He's so quick across the turf.
He's almost flown across the ground there, making use of the little bit of moisture's on the ground. We have had a few showers, so he flew across the ground and timed it to perfection, and then so athletically got up off the ground and threw it in. So there have been some brilliant pieces of fielding from Pakistan, but the mistakes are the bits that they'll be disappointed about, things they really shouldn't have in their game.
See Harry Tector just trying to steer that rather than play. He was thinking, you can see how he's looking back at the point.
It's almost like he had decided what shot he wanted to play before the delivery, and then when it was there for the drive, he wasn't in position. So that's why he's disappointed. He feels he missed out. But he should have been looking to hit it between extra and a cover fielder in the deep.
It's gone after this. Long on, straight to the man who's a very straight long on.
So, 11 overs gone. Ireland 92 for 2. 2 wickets so far. The Ireland captain Paul Stirling dismissed first just for 11, and Andrew Balbirnie couldn't repeat his antics of the first game when he made 77. He got out for 16, and Tucker and Tector now out in the middle and building nicely for Ireland. Six bowlers in fact used so far. Afridi at the top, the most successful. How often do we say that about a Pakistan lineup? Such an important bowler for them, the left armour. But it's going to be Abbas who bowls from the castle end now.
I think that's going down, but he's all over the shop here. Harry Tector was mid-pitch, nowhere to go. Abbas Afridi with the appeal. That was going down.
Well, it was going down, and unfortunately for Pakistan, no one thought to get to the stumps because Harry Tector was stranded. And the throw that went in was almost as if he was lobbing it in, waiting for someone to come and catch it. But he just went over the stumps. So not good awareness from the Pakistan team.
Just beats that man at extra. That will be 4. Yeah, Imad Wasim is standing he's quite close at in that extra cover position, but Harry Tector uses the airborne route and he gets his boundary.
He didn't get all of that. He wasn't in a great position, but because of his strength there, he went through with the shot and just about got it over Imad Wasim. So an area where another player might pop it into the hands of the fielder because they recognise they're not there, he was able to lift it over.
Swings lustily at this and gone. What a superb catch. Shaheen Afridi. He's a big man and he steadied himself and he looked very accomplished and very assured, and he knows that catch has got rid of one of Ireland's best.
Well, 31 runs after he survived an LBW where he was given out, but they then discovered it was a no ball. Pakistan finally have Harry Tector out. So Tector goes for 32, Ireland 96 for 3. Curtis Camphor out at number 5 for Ireland. And this is why he's out there. Again, didn't get hold of this Harry Tector. He knew it as soon as he'd hit it. It was in between the fielders, but Shaheen Afridi did well, judged it, and importantly stayed on his feet as long as he could, and he went to ground after catching the ball. So excellent stuff from the tall, fast bowler.
Well, it is, you're right there, Izzy. Curtis Camphor, Johannesburg born and very tenacious cricketer. Quick in the field, loves to be involved, doesn't he? Loves to be in the thick of things.
He does. And the other day, his first shot, I don't know if you remember.
I do.
Is it seared on your brain like it is mine? Reverse paddle, first ball off Shaheen Afridi. And I saw him after the game and I said, I think that's the most outrageous shot I've ever seen someone play. And he said, well, I had to score boundaries and they're not going down the ground, Isabel. So he's short in stature, he knows his strengths and plays to them. So fair play to him, as we say here.
No, absolutely. Fair play to him. No, well, I think what it did as well, it just sent a signal to the team that, look, we can win this. We can beat this Pakistan side. And it was a sprint finish from Curtis Camphor after the runs from Harry Tector and Andy Balbirnie. But Abbas Afridi here. Good action. It's a good, honest action, this, that we're seeing from Abbas Afridi. Interestingly, I was watching him warming up for this match, going through his repertoire of slower deliveries. Yeah, genuine pace. He's related to Umar Gul, and you can see the Umar Gul action in this one.
Yeah, it's almost it's his legs as well. You know, the
Everything,
kind of
isn't it?
the legs are straight when he jumps into the air. Very Umar Gul-esque.
Looking for the Yorker. End of the over. It's 98 for 3. So 12 overs gone here. Ireland put into bat by Babar Azam. Pakistan deciding that they'll chase these runs, and it's Imad Wasim. Always difficult to get away, Imad.
Well, I think he'll be pleased that Andrew Balbirnie was gotten out so early because he's so good at facing left arm spin. Lorcan Tucker's good on the sweep, though. We might see him deploy that. He looks like he's decided he's the anchor, which is surprising given his scoring rate, 34 from 22, but he's been knocking it around more so the last few overs. Ireland 1 away now from the team century. All the fielders on the leg side. Bar 45 out on the boundary, so these two looking to see can they just chip it into that area where the circle is, see if they can get two. But Pakistan, well, they suffered because of that the other day. That's 100 up for Ireland in the 13th over. But there were plenty of twos between Harry Tector and Andrew Balbirnie in that game on Friday, so I think that's definitely a work on for Pakistan coming into this game. The fielders on that leg side, some of the quickest in the Pakistan team, very, very quick to come off the boundary as well as soon as they see those little shots into the leg side.
Yeah, Camphor will certainly go back if they are the fielder.
And he does like to back away for left arm spinners, gets him into trouble sometimes. He likes to play cross bat shots rather than straight bat shots. But it forces Imad Wasim to bowl a little bit straighter. Can't miss the fielder though. Nicely spell so far from Imad Wasim, just 15 runs with one ball remaining in his third. There's that sweep shot. Well, we spoke about it. So adept at it and double bluffed Imad Wasim for a maximum to close out that third over and ruin his figures.
Good looking shot. That was for 6. It's 110 for 3.
Wasim is a pretty quick left arm spinner. And I like the way he moved his back foot to the leg side as if to try and encourage Wasim to follow him. And the little double bluff came off.
Now this is the final over for. No, it's not. It's Abbas Afridi. Again, that's missing. What he's doing is he's darting the ball into the pads of the right-handers.
Well, I'm surprised that we haven't seen either Tucker or Camphor take on the fielder that's in short at 45, because that angle that Afridi bowls with in towards leg stump would be a good angle to play a ramp shot. The fielder is up, tempting them as well. Both players that play it very well. Tucker, I think, less likely to do it because, as I said, he seems to be more trying to hang around. We might see Camphor using that shot soon.
1 for 18, Abbas. Oopsie.
Well, it was exactly what I thought might happen, but Afridi, he was alive to the risk. Good change up from him. Slower delivery, not what you want when you decide to play a ramp shot. So staying just slightly ahead of the batters here in this over, Afridi. And a little game of cat and mouse.
Should look for 2. They will. Lorcan Tucker. So fast. And he made up his mind to go back for the second. You could see that he was going to take on the throw.
Yeah, he made that decision on his way down to the non-striker's end. So he's in and out very quickly. That's where you get that second run, is how quickly you can ground your bat and turn and set off. That's where he and Camphor as well, they're both very good at that.
Yeah, don't mind that at all from Abbas Afridi. Good pace. He knows that keeping Tucker quiet, 44 from 27, if he can do that, just makes him a little more honest.
Well, I just wonder as well, is Tucker showing his hand too soon? Because that's twice in the over now that Afridi has bowled the perfect ball to counter what Tucker's been doing.
It's a wide.
Tucker throws his head to the sky. He can't believe he's missed out on that. It would just be a little short arm jab for 6 down over fine leg, such a short boundary. That's the end. Down to Colester, it's just 54 metres from the middle of the pitch. So even shorter from this end.
Yeah, same pitch as we used in the first match on Friday.
I hazard a guess that there were a few burnt Irish people after that game on Friday. That we just saw that shot into the clubhouse. And after the game, I don't know if you noticed the number of people having pints that maybe hadn't put the sun cream on, and then they stayed a little bit longer, maybe celebrating an Ireland win. Plenty of family and friends that were celebrating the team's victory on Friday.
Almost looked premeditated, that from Curtis Camphor. He was going after it. It's the end of 14 overs, 116 for 3. Well, we had a delayed start today, so the match is 40 minutes late starting. Forecast for some heavy showers, but I'm going to keep fingers crossed here, Izzy, that we're okay. It's a bit cooler today.
It is, and it does look like there are some showers in the distance. You can see it's almost its own microclimate here in Clontarf. It could be sunny elsewhere and raining here, or it could be raining elsewhere and sunny here. We'll hope for the latter. Afridi now back on.
Shaheen just drops it fractionally short. Curtis Camphor goes after it and he gets 6 off the big man. And Shaheen will not enjoy that. No fast bowler likes being hit for 6. Not with the nonchalance that we saw here from Curtis Camphor.
It just made it look so easy. Far too short in position. He was waiting for the short delivery. Perhaps Shaheen Afridi was remembering that reverse ramp on Friday and thinking, I don't want to get too full. And instead dropped it in short and sent for 6. 5 from 7 he was before that shot. It looks like he wasn't too keen to be going at less than a run a ball. He's back up above that. Ball's right with the world for Curtis Camphor again.
It's a good shot, wasn't it? So we've got a nice little duel here within the contest between Curtis Camphor and Shaheen Afridi, because fast bowlers, they don't forget things, you know.
No.
They're just, they park things in the memory banks for the next time, for the next contest. They say, I remember what you did to me. Now this is my turn now.
You do start wondering what's going to be the change-up. Is it going to be the slower delivery or is there going to be chin music?
Oh, he bowls quicker and quicker, this fella.
Goes for the chin music.
There we go. He might just say, I don't know. He didn't say anything that time.
Bit of respect being shown from Afridi, which is good to see. Just picks up the ball. There's going to be a concussion check now. That one hitting Curtis Camphor in the helmet, so those regulations they have to be followed. Great to see that coming into the game in the last number of years. Number of questions. Have you had one of these done, Alan? They didn't have these back in your day.
No,
they were coming in when I was still playing.
If you got hit, bad luck.
Well, they'll be asking a number of questions for any viewers at home that are wondering what is it that's happening out there. Number of questions. What day is it? What's your favourite colour? Hopefully you've figured that out before you ask the question, because it's important that it's known
red,
by.
green, blue, yellow. I don't mind.
Yeah, Mark Rice is the physio that's come out, so he seems to be happy enough that everything's all right. Great to see Pakistan supporters out in force, as they always are, supporting their team.
No, he's okay. Four balls to go to complete this 15th over. Ireland put into bat by Babar Azam, Pakistan's captain. Got the extra pace in this Pakistan side of Mohammad Amir. Shadab Khan is the man who makes way for him. That was an engineered stroke from Curtis Camphor. He's going to get 4 for it. It's not the right line, this, from Shaheen.
What a pickup shot this is, because Curtis Camphor has to have been thinking about the one that's hit him the ball before, but manages to get the hands around in time. The extra pace has helped him whip that one round the corner for 4 runs. But it's such an enthralling battle within a battle between these two, Curtis Camphor and Shaheen Afridi. 45 goes out to the boundary. Now mid-wicket inside the ring. Other fielders out are square leg, long on, and cover.
Oh, this is very handsome. That has gone way over, long off for 6. Curtis Camphor is winning this little contest against the big man, Shaheen Afridi. And what has he got to come back at this Irish batsman?
Superb shot, dancing down. Lifts it over mid-off, holds the pose. He knows that one's going all the way. 6 more of the best. Johnny Kennedy, the third umpire, is going to be getting tired of walking out with the spare balls at this stage.
So 132 for 3. Foundation is set here for Ireland to head towards the 180. Maybe 190. Babar Azam referred to that. In the first game, he said 180, then he readjusted his sights and said, I think 190 was probably the score I should have been looking at. Now this time, Shaheen comes round the wicket. Single this time.
Yeah, better angle for the field that he has set, because he's got deep point cover, fine leg, square leg and long on. So when he comes over the wicket, he has to be really straight, because third is inside the ring. coming around the wicket. He can spear it in at the stumps. So fine leg had come up, now being sent back again. So the field is just as I described it, the 3 out in the leg side with mid wicket inside the ring. Mid off is up as well, so that's the space should Tucker want to take it on.
Goodness, that is an extraordinary stroke from Curtis Camphor. Strong wrists. I beg your pardon, from Lorcan Tucker. Extraordinary stroke that was.
So just have a look on the point of contact. His head is still, just whips his bottom hand around, manages to beat the fielder. There it is, at square leg. It's just not clear whether that was 4 or 6. They were waiting for that signal.
133 for 3.
Well, we just had a slight break in play here as trying to use the technology to ascertain as to whether or not this is 4 or 6. Got Alan Lewis joining me for the first time today. Louis, this is a very difficult one for our TV umpire.
Oh, just as I saw, we'll see it now. It's going to be probably a lot clearer now. It's 4 runs for me.
Our TV umpire today, that's Mark Hawthorne, highly experienced. He gets the communication across to Aidan Seaver. For his signal gets us to the end of that 15th, 137 for 3, 5 remain. Ireland, given that they lost the toss, Alan, being asked to have a bat first under gloomy skies, some rain about. They'll be pretty pleased with their position. We're going to see Mohammad Amir return into the attack from the city end. 5 to go. Slower ball is going to work the Oracle. Just stuck in the wicket, completely deceived Curtis Camphor. And having come to Ireland a little late, that will make his journey and his trip all the more worthwhile. It's a first breakthrough for Mohammad Amir today, and Pakistan have a 4th.
Yeah, it seemed an extraordinary shot, really, what Curtis Camphor. I think he was half trying to ramp that and got caught in 2 minds. It was obviously Amir's first delivery of the over, but he's done a good job, Curtis Camphor. 22 off 13. And in the context of how Ireland are playing, you can see it here, kind of half went at it really, and Amir gladly took what you could only describe, Andrew Leonard, as a dolly.
It was indeed a dolly. Brings about the 4th wicket, and it will bring George Dockrell to the crease. Very much Ireland's finisher these days. What an impactful innings he played. You may have been mid-air on the way back, but it was a special knock. It was a very impactful one alongside those cameos from Gareth Delaney, who's shown good form with the bat in recent times, and Curtis Camphor, indeed, who was the Iceman at the death. This is exactly almost the prototype situation that George Dockrell trains for. And this ground, it's going to suit his game down to the ground because he's so strong straight. That's always where he'll try and score. He starts in sparkling fashion. Oh, what a stroke. Ireland continue to attack. 4 more.
Great stroke from Dockrell, and Dockrell has this habit, and you can see this on the replay. He gives himself that little bit of room outside leg stump. He opens up that offside, and as you say, Andrew, he is so strong through there. And again, you can see just how wide of leg stump he was there to open up that area, and it's an area of huge profit for Dockrell, as you've just said.
So you can almost imagine an arc, can't you? Straight down the ground from kind of quite a straight mid-wicket through that extra cover region you just scored from. Anywhere there, Therefore, anywhere full, Dockrell is going to punish you.
Well, the other thing you've got to take into consideration is Babar Azam is in the circle. So you've got 90 degrees of space, either side of obviously fielders, which in the first instance Dockrell did. But if you want to go over, as you say, if it's full, it's relatively risk-free.
Lots of cutters, I suspect, as a consequence from Mohammad Amir. This time he goes to the block hole, and Dockrell finds a way to squirt it away. Opens the face very pleasingly on that. It's 2 boundaries and 3 deliveries. Ireland on the charge.
Well, they're putting themselves in fantastic position, and you can see again that just little movement to leg, nearly Stirling-esque, that wasn't it? The way he just opened the face and found that gap.
A fantastic atmosphere building up here. Almost probably an equal number of Pakistan fans, as many as the Irish, crowding in looking for a series victory. Real power from Dockrell, and no attempt from the skipper to even affect the run-out. Happy to concede the single. This looks like an entirely invigorated Irish side under the new white ball captain Paul Stirling, being in charge permanently for less than a year now.
Well, it's quite interesting because I was speaking with Alan Wilkins earlier when we were on, and he was saying that he felt that Paul looked inspired, and it was always something that I'd kind of thought about, like, why was Paul so reluctant? Because he's such a good cricket player. I think it's reinvigorated him.
Yeah, I think it really has. Ireland looking so confident. Going to get away with that. Probably flirted with the guideline. Tucker will have to wait for the landmark. It will get us to the end of the 16th. 146 for 4.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one because, again, you talk about Stirling. Bowling. Doesn't bowl enough. How many times do we see him in franchise cricket? He bowls, won't bowl for his country.
Yeah, the topic of Ireland's part-time bowlers is an interesting one, isn't it? David Townsend, the great journalist who follows Ireland's fortunes, asked that not once but twice of Paul Stirling at the press conference. I think he was trying to impress his point pre-series, and Stirling said it's not out of the question. Absolutely is still on the table, although it does seem like I bowl for other sides more than I do for Ireland. And David countered that by saying, well, that is under your control now, skipper. But Naseem Shah's going to be to bowl the 17th. Flicked into the air, protection out there. A fumble is going to cost a run. No, it won't, because Dockrell didn't quite pick it up quickly enough. It's a massive win for Ireland the other day. Does it mean anything without it becoming a series win, though?
Well, like, ultimately, you want to win cricket matches. The fact that, Ireland are in such a good position here, you've got to wonder, at what point, what score are Pakistan going to really feel the heat? Because realistically here, that Ireland should be looking at 180, 190, possibly 200, with the position they're in. And certainly very interesting 2 things. One is obviously the total. Tucker back in some runs, which is, again, another very important thing for both him and Ireland.
It will be 50. It's a comeback innings from Ireland's number 3 in this format. He's badly been shy of runs, but he'll get to that landmark of 32 deliveries. Ireland have stuck with their players. They've backed them to the hilt. 7 boundaries in what's been a very fine knock, and a huge sigh of relief for a man who's been out of form, but he's played brilliantly today.
He has, and we all know the striking ability of Lorcan Tucker. Again, the early part of his career, I think a lot of it was around nerves and all that type of thing, and then he settled into position at 7, and then they suddenly decided, look, we'll get him up to 3 with immediate success. Oh my goodness me, what a shot that is. And again, it's a hallmark, Andrew Leonard, of what you've spoken about, this ability of Dockrell to just potentially take the game away from you. And this is a shot that he's just developed in the last short period of time.
Yeah, great skills. He's read that it was the Yorker, given himself that room, and look at the hands. Gets them through the ball, but manipulates it to the part of the field where there is no fielder. And even Ryan Eagleson and the new spin bowling coach Chris Brown there, they almost looked at you and said, wow, look at that. Exceptional from Dockrell. Protection out there this time, so it'll just be a single Dockrell had a difficult tour in the UAE. He was down with some sickness, and one of the great strengths of Ireland in recent times has been such a settled squad.
Yeah, very much so. And again, you look at it in the context of that, and he did not look well. And again, the other facet we're not really seeing tested here either is Ireland against quality spin in the middle order, which has been an area in which they've struggled. But as you've pointed out, there looks to be a kind of different sense of intent within the team. And whether this is the Paul Stirling factor, whether they've just sat down, dusted themselves down and said, hey, if we're going to feature in this T20 World Cup, and another thing, listen, probably it's an advantage they've got India up front. And the likelihood is that it might blend itself into a winner-takes-all game potentially against Pakistan.
Well, I hear you, but you cannot underestimate particularly that American side on home soil. You've seen all of the players that they've had come into them in recent times. And that's going to be edged and gone. So Dockrell had profited from that area, but now he pays the price. And from his final delivery, Naseem Shah has some joy to celebrate. I think he's deserved that. He's bowled with real pace, some fire, some aggression, and Dockrell's little cameo ends.
Well, 15 off 7 is fine at this stage of an innings. He's played very well, George Dockrell, but again, he was just trying to open up that area of profit for him. But he's gone, and a regulation catch to Khan behind the wickets. And as you say, Naseem Shah deserved that.
Get one more look at the dismissal here. I think credit to Shah. It was definitely a change of pace. It's almost a slower ball bouncer. Just out-thought Dockrell, who had shown his hand really. It brings Gareth Delaney to the crease. The score 154 for 5. Nice little roll now for Gareth Delaney to play at number 7. He's got Mark Adair behind him, who's very capable. Noel McCarthy today, remember, with that back spasm, he misses out. Abbas to bowl the 18th. Tucker now goes 2. It's 2 in 2. All the momentum just swinging back towards the visitors. They're 2 very big wickets, 2 of Ireland's best hitters in Tucker and Dockrell. They fall in consecutive deliveries.
Well, you've got to give credit to Abbas there. He's clearly bowled a cutter into the pitch. And again, Tucker leaning back, and probably in the context of where Ireland are in terms of building again that momentum of partnership. Now you've got 2 fresh batters at the crease, 23 balls remaining, and as you can see there, he was deceived. And it has to be said, that's a very good piece of bowling by Abbas. 154 for 6.
So Ireland will need something now from Mark Adair. Alongside McCarthy, he's turned into a real talisman, hasn't he, over the last 24 to 30 months, not just with ball, but also with the bats in hand. His career best came last year against Scotland up in the Grange. And he's going to get off to a very fortunate start. In no way where he intended it. He was looking towards the pavilion. It's ended up nearly in the side screen, but it is a boundary to get off the mark.
I think this typifies Mark Adair. You just don't know what's going to happen next. Again, just to the crease. And I don't know what way to describe that, Andrew, but the bottom line is, from an Irish perspective, it's an additional boundary. Closing in on 160 now.
I think it's a scutch for 4, Alan. That's what it is. But look in the book will be the response from Adair. And I think, again, even from the very first delivery of batters' innings, even after Ireland have lost wickets, you're seeing the continued intent from the team. We saw it from Dockrell, now we see it from Adair too. It just keeps coming. Ireland, they're not in fourth gear, they're in fifth gear almost the whole way throughout this innings. Great credit to them. This is a much better shot. Back-to-back boundaries after back-to-back wickets.
Well, I think the one thing you'll notice here is, Andrew, how Adair just holds that fraction later. Again, it was a slower ball from Abbas. And again, you can see it out of the back of the hand there. But Adair, the prophet of waiting, and he absolutely murdered that through extra cover. Beautiful shot.
Brought about a change in the field. Deep third has gone back and mid-off has come up into the circle. So you'd expect surely an on-pace delivery here this time. Does go for the block hole. Nice cues away into the leg side where Shaheen Afridi does excellently to keep it to what will be one despite Azam Khan's fumble with the gloves. If Ireland can get up north of what they posted the other day, which was, I think it was 183 they required to win, would be a record at this ground in T20I cricket. Would that make Ireland favourites for the day and indeed then a series defining 2-0 lead?
Well, I think it'll be a big ask for Pakistan to get home. There's no doubt about that. Like a score of 180, 185 batting first. You'll win more games than you'll lose, Andrew, with a total of that size. Now, I know we're seeing different things at IPL and various different things like that, but I just sense that could be the case.
Good angles this time from Afridi. He impressed me the other day. He's a young man who's come into the international game very recently. It was who was going to be the hero, Camphor Afridi, in that final over. And even though Camphor ended up winning the plaudits in the headlines, this man by no means disgraced himself. They've just found yet another outstanding pacer, I feel.
They just seem to come from everywhere in Pakistan, don't they, really? Just that natural talent.
And at the tender age of just 23, remarkable to think the talent that Pakistan continue to produce. Delaney will keep the strike, gets us to the end of 18. 2 remain, 164 for 6.
Well, as you can see there, here's the bowling card. Afridi up top really struggled to get any form of consistency at all, and you can have a look at those averages. Really, it's that little bit of pace off in that Azam. Again, that quality left arm spin. Ayub, admittedly only 1 over, but again, it's been carnage from Ireland.
You're surprised that Babar didn't look to get maybe 1 or 2 more overs of spinning, given that Ireland didn't really profit against it.
I think that it is a mistake, and it's clearly Ayub was very much part-time, probably got away with it.
Afridi carted into the leg side. You'll think of a second, but a clean piece of fielding initially does enough.
I don't know about you, Andrew, but it's got very dark.
Yeah, Fakhr's a man out there with the fielding. It has got gloomy. You have to remember, we originally intended for a 3:05 start today. That was delayed initially by 25 minutes and then by another 10. Credit to the umpiring team to keep us at a full T20I. Don't like a 15, 16, 17 over game. So we're going to get a full game in with the summer approaching and June only around the corner, Alan. We get lovely long summer evenings here in Ireland, so we should be fine. But it has just got a bit gloomy. Hopefully that cloud cover just dissipates. Good skills. Again, it's the changes of pace. Are Pakistan starting to learn the surface, maybe a little slower than their coaching team would have liked?
Yeah, well, they've just introduced that, those cutters. You saw Bass out of the back of the hand, slower balls. But really, the ones that are most effective, Andrew, are those cutters.
And critically for the bowler, so in Shaheen Afridi's case here, he wants to bowl the off cutter because it takes it away from the natural hitting arc of the right-handed marker there. Follows it up. Oh, with a brilliant tailing leg stump Yorker. Bowled him. That is brilliant.
Well, it's trademark Afridi. Honing in on that leg stump. Normally with that little bit of in-swing, which he hasn't been able to get today. But he got it right in the right area there. And I think it might have just even come off the pad of Adair onto the leg stump. but a beautiful piece of bowling from him. Ireland 165 for 7.
Let's get one more look here. Probably won't be able to tell from that angle, but it felt to me as if anything, it just tailed very late, not back into a dare, but if anything, a brilliant, skillful line here because it's right into the feet. Might get a look here if it's clipped anything. No, it hasn't. Great skills. The away shape, world class from Shaheen Afridi, his third wicket of the day.
And it brings Graham Hume to the wicket. Replacement, of course, for Barry McCarthy. Slight back spasm. And won't be easy in this light for Graham Hume, it has to be said.
Again, this time it's that what would be away swing to the right-hander, but in swing to the left-hander. Hume does enough to get off the mark. These sets, to me, they feel a very critical 9 deliveries. Ireland need to finish with a flourish. Anything shy of 180, given the platform and the dominance they've had in this first innings, will be a disappointment.
Yeah, it's amazing the flows and swings of a T20 game. And again, you could probably only think an over ago, Andrew. Ireland ascendancy, a dare came to the wicket, 2 or 3 fours, boom. You know, Lorcan Tucker going right after the fall of another wicket.
Delaney chips this, really no more than that, but he might well have chipped it with good reward. He's going to get 4. He'll say that's a controlled stroke, a touch unorthodox potentially, but very effective. The 170's up.
Well, it's been a huge area of profit for Ireland, Andrew, today. A lot of this opening the face. These are shots that they're looking to engineer now, and it's been a big area for Ireland today. And here's, again, that little bit of opening the face. With third man and point up, it's on. And this will please the Irish dressing room no end.
Under will Delaney look to keep the strike here.
He certainly will, and he's whacked that for 6. That's a huge finish to the over from Gareth Delaney. Brings us to an end. 176 for 7, 1 to go.
Well, for me, I don't think he's looking to keep the strike, Alan. He's looking to smash it out of the ground. What an extraordinary stroke. And a pat on the back, too, for good measure from Shaheen Afridi. Get one more look at it here. This is, well, I used the word audacious for Curtis Camphor's shot the other day. There's a bit of audacity to this, too. Stunning shot for 6.
That is a great shot. Again, full face, full value. And straight into the pavilion area. Way to our left.
We're just getting a few drops of rain concerningly. I'm hoping this might be a little passing shower. I can guarantee you the umpires will do everything they can to get these 6 balls bowled, because it will hopefully allow us not to have to go through the calculations and bring our friends Duckworth, Lewis and Stern into play.
No relation, Andrew.
Thank you, Alan. Former Ireland captain. Gonna run a quick single and only get there thanks to a smiling Mohammad Amir missing the target. That would have been run out for all money, but Hume did the right thing. He's got to get Delaney on strike.
Couldn't agree more, Andrew. And that was unselfish of Hume. Absolutely the right thing to do.
Little bit of a mid-innings collapse for Ireland, but they just continue to keep going. They're piling the pressure onto Pakistan.
Well, I think it's wonderful to see, and again, you've spoken before about this is, probably part of, the new Paul Stirling. This is what he wants to see as captain. This is the way that he wants them to think. And I think when you get into that mindset, good things happen.
Yeah, there's an amazing positivity, isn't there, to the Irish camp at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen them happier or closer. I've said it a few times, but I feel that the backroom staff deserve a huge amount of credit, not just Tyler Milan, the head coach, but the hard-working likes of Ryan Eagleson, Scotty Irvine, the team Atlas, Chris Siddle, Brendan Connor. There's so many unsung heroes there.
Yeah, well, look, the other side of things you got to remember, they're a family, and if you're family, you've got to try and be happy.
They brought the joy back, I feel.
Joy.
This one's gone down the ground. He's got it nice and straight, and it's going to be a challenge for long on, and one that he's not up to. They go past 180 again, Ireland, against the higher ranked opposition, and this is very much game on.
And again, one area that is nearly indefensible, and that's a poor piece of fielding, really. Should have been stopped, slow enough to the ball, but that won't worry Ireland.
Sadly, is going up here, and even hardy Irish umpires are going to find it difficult to get these 3 balls in. That's hammering down now. Amir, well, a little bit different here in Dublin. 3 balls remain into the block hole. Squirts away for a single. Can they put pressure on the fielder? They can, because there's a slip and a fumble. Oh, calamity out there. And with just 2 balls to go, I think the umpires with the wide brim hats will just do everything they can to get these 2 in. Ireland have equalled what they made 2 days ago. Is it going to be a winning score again?
That is the question that remains, but they will be very, very happy with this total. And I think it's, as you say earlier, it's important if we can get these 2 balls in, which I think we will now. And that's going to be 6 more, and it is indeed. And that's come off a top edge to that shorter boundary.
With those runs, it's now a record total at the Clontarf Cricket Ground. It is hammering down now. God, you really have to feel for the 2 umpires here, for Rolly Black and Hayden Seaver. They'll probably just want to get this 1 ball in. There's a little bit of protestation from some of Pakistan's fielders, as if it wasn't just 1 ball to go, they'd be off now, but they'll probably try and get it in. Ireland with a record total at this ground in T20I cricket. Can they go into the 190s? Pump down the ground, they should be able to with real ease. It's a big last over. Delaney's played a sparkling cameo. He'll sprint up. Rain all around, drama all around, but Ireland have headlined this first innings. They've lost the toss, a fist bump for Delaney, 28 off 10 for him, and it's Ireland with 193 for 7.
Well, that's a fantastic score from Ireland. 193 for 7. Wonderful contribution from Delaney at the end, but the greater sense of purpose you spoke about, Andrew, right from when George Dockrell came in, has transcended itself right through the innings to give us what we finished with in the end. And it's just wonderful to see. And it's going to be a big, big task for Pakistan to chase this.
Today, there's been a bit of everything happening today. We had a coin toss with the coin getting stuck in the surface and taking what felt like an age before